was really easy for them? Zuhair. I mean, he never camped next to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein after he was returning from Hajj. But where did he landed? Where did he ended up? He ended up receiving the salutations of Imam Zaman till today. I mean, he knew Imam Hussein changed his Hajj and he's also going to Kufa. Zuhair was going to Kufa as well. And to the extent where Abu Abdullah camped, he said, I will camp further. When Abu Abdullah came there, he packed up and he left. To the extent that Abu Abdullah sent his own messenger and he came to Zuhair and brought him. And the whole thing and the whole personality, he had some good obviously, he had some unique quality and every insan has that. That is why Fir'aun, whatever, to that extent he accepted it and he left, Musa, he couldn't do anything to Musa, or whatever the factor may be. And it was the Imam who brought that revolution, who changed his life, who changed him, who made him a waliullah, assalamu alaikum awliya Allahi wa ahibbahu, who made him a lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That quality is achieved by people who work, day and night to be called as, awliya, to be called as, lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, muhib of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a joke. But the Imam did that. I was just mentioning earlier, just as they say, Asra bi abdihi layl min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa. In that instance, in that one night, Prophet was taken from Makkah to Masjid al-Aqsa and waqana qaba qawsayn aw adna in no time. It was really Allah's power to do that. So here it was Hussein's power to really change the destiny of Ghur, to really change the destiny of Zuhair. It was the Imam. And we are believers of such an Imam. And that is why even till today, the majalis of Abu Abdullah Hussain have that aspect of bringing that revolution with him. And if we reflect, as we've been asked to reflect and contemplate, more than probably than aqimus salat, that you do tafakkur, so much of sawab, so much, you really need to reflect in the whole episode of Karbala. What were the exchange of words, the dialogue, where people belong, how they were, the Kufans, how coward they were, how they betrayed the Imam of the time. Hur, when he gets the reign of Abu Abdullah, Imam Hussain said, may your mother cry on you. I mean, this doesn't really nice way for an Imam to speak in that fashion. But what is Imam Hussain doing here? And what was the response of Hur? What did he say? He said, if I not knew who your mother was, I would have said the same thing. So Hur had that spark in him. He knew who was the mother of Abu Abdullah Hussain. So the whole thing is composed. The orchestrator is Abu Abdullah Hussain here. He's bringing that out, from each and every soul by going to them, by attending to them, and at the same time reflecting upon the words, the poetry, the names, even to the extent of Hur, for instance. How poetic that is, how eloquent that is, and how Imam responded to him. Or the first Shaheed, which is Muslim ibn Aqil. The first Shaheed of the mission of Abu Abdullah Hussain is a Muslim. That name itself reflects something. That he was a Muslim. The one who surrendered really to the will of Mawla. Now just a bit of history in terms of what happened in regards to Abu Abdullah. See, Muawiyah, who was the Khalifa, he governed for 20 years. 10 years in the period of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, and 10 years in the period of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And Muawiyah had made a pact with Imam Hussein, the peace pact, that I will not nominate anyone, I will not nominate my successor. But he nominated Yazid as the successor, and he died. And Yazid, within that 6-month period, the event of Karbala took place. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam was there all 20 years and few months, 20 years of Muawiyah and few months with Yazid in terms of his lifespan and how much he lived. And Yazid was informed by his father that there are 4 people who will not pay allegiance to you. And one of them was Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he was asked not to disturb him because he knew that what relationship Imam Hussein had. But Yazid still, that arrogance, that Firawniyat that he had within him. And this Firawniyat wasn't just the Firawniyat of himself, just as we see in Firaun. There's the Mala. The Mala are the chiefs which Firaun had. The Mala, the council or the chiefs that the Firaun had, the partners, they all composed together. They ganged up against the Khalifatullah, against the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa here, and here is Abu Abdullah Hussein. So the potential and the ultimate fall of a human being is reflected in Firaun, and the ultimate ascent of a human being is reflected in Musa. Same applies here. The ultimate downfall, at how much an insan could fall, is reflected in Yazid and the followers of Yazid. And the level that one could reach in terms of humanity, in terms of perfection, is reflected in Hussein and the followers of Hussein. So Muslim ibn Aqil, when he came to Kufa, 10,000 or more. I mean, the tradition which I just read before coming here in the book of Ayatollah Ishtahardi, it says that there were 4,000 men with Muslim ibn Aqil surrounding the castle of Ibn Ziyad. That's not less. 4,000 men is a lot. 10,000 people prayed behind Muslim ibn Aqil in the masjid of Kufa, and in the same evening he was alone. So they camped outside the camp. They were with Muslim ibn Aqil. He was leading it, and they wanted to uproot Ibn Ziyad. But at the end of it, what happened? How can that happen? This shows something. The love of property, the love of the children, the love of women that they had, and they were scared of that. And Ibn Ziyad, because he was the governor of Basra, Ibn Ziyad, and Nu'man ibn Bashir was the governor of Kufa. And Yazid, who was in Sham, he found out that this is what's going on. He replaced, Nu'man with Ibn Ziyad, and he made him governor basically of Basra and Kufa as well. So he came from Basra to Kufa, disguising himself as Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and they all went in joy of welcoming Imam Hussein. Oh, grandson of the Prophet, you have arrived and we are with you, we will be with you. Thousands of them. And as soon as he removed his niqab and the veil that he was wearing, they were shocked. And he delivered a sermon that your property, your women and children are halal. If you support, and if you're not, let me know where is Muslim, where he is hiding. And he was in the house of Hani ibn Arwa. Hani was a loyal, a great tribal leader. He had a lot of following, and once it was found out, then Hadi was summoned by Ibn Ziyad that you are hiding Muslim and you have to give it. And the habit and the etiquette of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad is that once Muslim found out that Hani's life is in danger, the house is not secure, he left. He didn't remain in that house. And even after summoning him, Muslim ibn Aqil gathered the tribe of Hani, that this is what he has done. He has disrespected the head of the clan, let's revolt against, Ibn Ziyad. Eventually, to the extent that Ibn Ziyad sent his men money and dispersed the crowd, saying that there's an army coming from Sham, you will be, you'll be basically crushed like anything in Kufa. 4,000 is nothing. Imagine the army coming from Syria. The Yazid have sent the troops already. They all got scared. They all left. They sent a letter to the Imam. They paid allegiance to Muslim ibn Aqil that we will follow you, we are with you. But at the end of it, what happened? So there's a lot of reflection required. What it really requires of us to really be with the Imam of the time, to be with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. That element, as they say in Surah Jumu'ah, they will call you, in kuntum sadiqin. If you are the truthful ones, call death upon them, but they will run away from death. For the, Yahud has been mentioned in Surah Jumu'ah, right? If you're sadiq, if you're truthful, face death, but they will run away from death. So what was these elements existed in the ashab of Imam Hussein that made them ishtiyaq for that liqa, for that meeting to take place? So here now, as Muslim was left alone, he stationed himself near a house of an old lady, and she inquired that, how come you are here and there's a curfew by the forces of Ibn Ziyad, and why don't you go to your house, to your home? And he says, I have no home here. My house is in Medina. As soon as she hears Medina, obviously she was one of the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Her heart melts, she inquires more, and he says, I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim ibn Aqil, I'm the son of Aqil, the brother of Ali, and more. And then Muslim requests that for tonight I would like to be stationed in your house, if you allow me. She's welcomed, she opened the door, she provided the water. And when Bilal, who was the son of To'a, comes back, returns back home, he was one of the soldiers of Ibn Ziyad, she made the son, promise her that he will not inform that Muslim is here. And as soon as the dawn happens, he goes and he informs Muhammad ibn Ash'as. And Ash'as informs Ibn Ziyad that Muslim is in the house of To'a. And in the morning after the prayers of Fajr, when To'a goes to Muslim and he inquires, have you slept? And here Muslim says that I slept for a little and I saw Amirul Mu'mineen. And when I saw him, Amirul Mu'mineen told me, Muslim haste and death is inevitable. And similar types of ecstasies or manifestation or mukashifat or dreams to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on the 28th of Rajab. See, on the 27th night, the Safar of Imam Hussein is on 28th of Rajab. What is 27th of Rajab? 27th of Rajab is Mab'as. It's the night of Mab'as, the night in which the Prophet is Mab'us. It is recommended to worship all night. The ibadat is so much powerful on that night. So do you think Imam Hussein was sleeping on the 27th night? He confined himself to the Masjid al-Nabawi. And then there he says, I had a vision of the Prophet. And the Prophet told me that, O Hussein, this is the maqam that you would have. And the achievement of this maqam that you will have is through Karbala. It will happen through your sacrifice. And this maqam has never been given to anybody. And then on the 27th night, and on Imam Safar of Imam Hussein is on the 28th. That Imam Hussein died. So these were the bashara, or the glad tidings, or the indication and the guidance from that barzakh, from that spiritual realm of awliya, of the Imam of the time, to those people who are on the ground. So this is really telling something. This means that the connection of those souls which are living, which are alive in barzakh with the Prophet, with the Amir al-Mu'mineen is possible, in order that we get the strength and we go in the right direction. Although Muslim is a staunch follower of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but still it requires that guidance, that spirituality from the Imams. Although Imam Hussein knew right from the very beginning that he will be sacrificed, but at the same time requires that inspiration, that strength from the Prophet of the time to really bring him out and from Medina. So therefore Imam Hussein was going, but these are the strength, these manifestation and mukashafat, and entering into the realm of barzakh, entering into that purgatory realm while living is pointed out continuously and requires that contemplation. Here Muslim says that Amirul Mu'mineen have said that, haste Muslim, you have to come and meet and we are waiting for you. And as soon as his speech, the talk finishes, there was knock on the door. 300 men entered the house of Toa. And the Bani Hashim, they were strong people. I mean, they were strong in terms of their intellectuality, the capacity which they had, the eloquency which they had, the chivalry which they had. They were powerful. All of these things which are mentioned in the traditions are true, that they fought 300 men. The Muslim uprooted the door of Toa and used it as a shield to fight 300 men, and he pushed them out. And when he pushed them out, Ash'as sent his men to Ibn Ziyad, and he said, send me more people. 600 more were sent. And they all ganged up on Muslim. They went on top of the roof which surrounded the alley in which Muslim was fighting. The torches of flame started coming on Muslim. They started to throw stones upon Muslim. And Muslim single-handedly was fighting, and they say that he killed about 180 of them, and many were injured. And it was very difficult to really ground and stop Muslims, so they had to dig up a ditch and pushed him back so that he falls onto that ditch, and they throw a trap, they throw ropes onto Muslim, and then finally they dragged him to the castle of Ibn Ziyad. As soon as he enters the castle of Ibn Ziyad, the guard says, do salam to Amirul Mu'mineen. He says, he's not my Amirul Mu'mineen. Look at that courage of Muslim. And Ibn Ziyad says that I will ground you, that I will kill you. And Muslim says, this is not the first time that the worst person have killed the best. Look at the eloquency, look at the logic, look at the philosophy. It's a whole propaganda war. Here Ibn Ziyad saying that I will do this to you. You are creating disunity in the Muslim Ummah. By not paying allegiance to Yazid. Here Muslim says that Yazid is not the rightful Khalifa. Look at this exchange of dialogue that is taking place in the heat of debate. And here, Muslim says, Ibn Ziyad asks, what is your wish? Before killing, we ask the wish of the person, and Muslim says, I have 3. I have taken some loan, repay my debt by selling my sword and my shirt. Give me a Muslim funeral. Once again, you have the element of dars and lesson here. Was Muslim given a Muslim funeral? A Muslim wasn't given a Muslim funeral. His body was hanging till they got the Osara, till they got the prisoners from the day of Ashura. Still, Muslim was hanging there. The yatim, the daughters of Muslims saw the body of the father hanging in the Darul Imara. And then the third thing he says, send a qasid, send a messenger to Abu Abdullah Hussein and ask him not to come to Kufa, because Kufa is not the place for my Mawla to be here. If he comes here, he will be killed. Ibn Ziyad says that I will fulfill the 2, and he didn't even fulfill probably, the 2 of them. Then he said, I will not fulfill the 3rd one. And finally he asked one of his soldiers to take Muslim upon the roof and behead him. As soon as the sword was put on the neck of Muslim, his hands were tied to his back. He looked towards Makkah and he gives Assalamu alayka ya Rabb. He gives the last salutation. And this is What is giving salam? This majlis is nothing but giving salam to Hussein. This majlis is nothing but giving salam to Muslims. That's what this majlis is all about. And who are we to give salam? How can we give salam? We are nothing to really give salam. This salam is really that salam which is the name of Allah. Allah is salam. We are just becoming a vehicle, a medium to provide this salam. This salam is really an amanat to Hussein and the ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We are delivering this amanat by performing this majlis of Abu Abdullah Hussein. Here Muslims give salam to Abu Abdullah. And there Abu Abdullah alayhi salam says, Wa alaykum salam. And here Zainab looks at the face of Hussein and says, who are you giving wa alaykum salam? Is Muslim shaheed? He said, yes, Muslim is giving the last salam. And as soon as that sword chops the neck of Muslim, the neck falls onto the ground and his body was pushed onto the ground. And here Hussein calls the children of Muslim. The daughters of Muslim were called. In the camp of Hussein, they sit next to Hussein, and Hussein started to stroke the head of the daughters of Muslim. And they question and they inquire that, oh my uncle, why are you treating us in a fashion that an orphan is treated? Have we become yatim? Have we become orphan? And here Hussein says that my daughters are your sisters. My brother are your sister. This is a phrase which is used, in order to exchange and give condolences to the yatim, to the orphans. I remember that who was giving condolences to Sakina when Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam was shaheed. When that horse returned, that Zuljana returned back to the Qiyam without Hussein, here Sukaina comes out and inquires that, oh the horse, oh Zuljana, inform me, was my father given a sip of water before they slaughter Hussein? And then when Sukaina was lost after she was arrested in the wilderness and found sleeping on the ground, and here comes Shimr and uses that cane and wakes up Sukaina from that sleep. And this is how they treat yatim. Allah la'natullah ala qawm al-zalimeen. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أنهم ينقلبون بفاطمة وأبيها وبالها وبنيها وسر المستودع فيها فعجبنا يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا قاضي الحاجات يا كافي المحمات إنك على كل شيء قدير. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussain alayhi salam, بحق Fatima Zahra salamun alayha, accept this little ibadat of ours. Forgive all of our sins and the sins of our marhumeen. Make our marhumeen special guests of Abu Abdullah Hussain alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, protect the azadari of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. No matter where it is performed, particularly in Pakistan, in Iraq. Ya Allah, بحق Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, protect the Zawar of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, who are going on the 10th of Muharram, who have already started walking to Karbala. Ya Allah, بحق Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, protect the life, honor, dignity of Shi'ayana of Amirul Mu'mineen, no matter where they live in this world. Ya Allah, بحق Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, give shifa to Jumla Mu'mineen and Mu'minat, especially those who have requested us for prayers and for prayers of shifa. Ya Allah, بحق Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, protect the Maraja-e-Izam, particularly Ayatollah Sistani and Ayatollah Khamenei. Ya Allah, bihaqq Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, give strength and tawfiq to us to walk upon the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Protect our elderly ones, guide our young ones, and keep on the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Rahamallahu man qara'a al-Fatiha li arwah al-mu'mineen wal-mu'minat. Salawat with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.